After today's court session for the YSL RICO case, rappers are now counting down the days until Young Thug's release date, as a YSL lawyer was fed up with the prosecutors, stating that the state prosecutor can talk the ears off of a donkey.
For giving me the moment to speak. Thank you.
Your Honor, I apologize for interrupting the state earlier, but the state can talk the ears off a donkey. This continued filibustering has got to stop so that opposing counsel can speak.
So obviously the state prosecutor didn't appreciate this at all. She would stand up, arguing so much back and forth with the YSL lawyer that the judge and even an officer had to make her stop.
At some point, Your Honor,
I'm sorry, I'm talking, and I don't know why I'm being interrupted. I will not stop. I was speaking.
Ms. Lowe.
I'm sorry, I was speaking.
Both y'all can't talk at the same time.
I know, I was speaking, and I expect you to be allowed to speak when I'm speaking.
Hey, both of you all need to just take it down a notch.
And so, Your Honor, if I may finish, because I was the one speaking before Mr. Weinstein interrupted.
But you continually engage in this pattern of behavior, Ms. Love. You don't want to accept my ruling.
Your Honor,
and I know you're being an advocate, but at some point, stop. Just stop. I made my ruling. Good, bad, or indifferent to you.
All while these two and an officer were arguing back and forth, Young Thug was then seen trading his snacks with another YSL member and watching them argue, making it very clear that not only will the YSL RICO trial take over a year to be over with, but no one is even taking it serious inside of the courtroom. It was then time for Thug's lawyer to take control of the courtroom, make everyone focus on the task at hand, as he would end up calling out the Atlanta Police Department for lying about evidence against Young Thug. It goes and reads, Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele says, "I'm about to show you why I don't believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all."
I have
no recording of whom.
Detective Lewis at the hospital, Grady Hospital, September 11, 2013, meets with Walter Murphy. And Your Honor, as my eyes roll out of my head, I'm about to show you why I do not believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all. This is served in discovery. I will mark it Mr. Williams C and D. And then you tell me if I'm supposed to believe the allegations from the state of Georgia.
However, this is where the case gets very heated inside of the courtroom, and let me explain. The judge would end up calling out Young Thug's attorney for stating that the Atlanta Police Department lies about evidence.
Well,
Not conceding that?
well, I'm going to tell you that I haven't heard anything that would indicate that's truth.
Yeah, well,
you have a good faith basis to ask that.
You haven't heard anything of who he spoke with. That's my point.
That's the point.
But you all can't. But you two, neither one of you can proffer that.
Judge.
It's not proper, Mr. Steele.
No. Listen.
It's not. It would be a violation before me for you to put that in front of this jury.
In the September 17, 2000.
You are saying to the court that you have a belief that there is another statement out there. There's not.
How could you say that?
Because it hasn't been brought up. If it gets brought up, then we'll correct it at that point in time. But right now, I'm going to direct you not to inquire that line. You don't have a basis to do so.
As the evidence they are discussing and yelling about is all based around a man named Adrian Bean. The Atlanta police are trying to use the evidence against Young Thug that Adrian Bean told them all the way back in 2013. However, the issue is Adrian Bean has to confirm that what was said in 2013 is actually legitimate. However, Adrian says he now no longer even remembers giving them the evidence. As the original report goes and reads, unlike Trontavia Stevens, Adrian Bean is not bound by a plea deal. He was a part of a 2013 crime where 4 people were involved, but 1 escaped and was never caught. They need Bean to snitch on Young Thug on the stand like he did with the police in 2013. Now, Adrian originally snitched on Young Thug in 2013 to get out of a jail sentence, but because the police in the Atlanta Police Department took over a decade to start the RICO takedown, Adrian has now allegedly forgot about the crime. But the problem is, this crime is a majority of the evidence they are using against Young Thug.
After you answer the question, which you have to do.
Because I don't remember nothing that happened in 2013. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I understand. What I have to do is ask you some questions and determine what you do and don't remember. So, what is your response as to whether or not you recognize the images shown in Defendant's Exhibit number 8?
I don't remember.
All right. And I'm going to show you defendant's exhibit number 81. Do you recognize what's shown there?
No, ma'am.
Right. What about number 101 for defendant exhibits?
You see a car, but I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fine. Is your answer the same for defendant's exhibit number 82, number 89, and defendant's exhibit 90?
Yes, ma'am.
If Young Thug's lawyer is able to throw out this part of the court case, Thug is in a very good position to be released early. Because you need to remember, a lot can happen in 11 years. The crime occurred in 2013. Some sources claim that YSL members could have paid Adrian off to not snitch, but others believe that he actually did forget about the crime, as Adrian Bean has gone through a lot within the last decade, from having issues with narcotics to also being in and out of the prison system.
I really don't have any knowledge about 2013, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I don't really have any knowledge about 2013. Once I have went to prison and came home from prison and done my time, everything that happened in 2013 or whatever has been put behind me and set forth. So I've been, working and just doing my thing since I came home from prison. I don't have no knowledge of nothing that happened 10 years ago.
If they're able to get rid of this part of the court case, Young Thug is in a beautiful spot, as everything seems to be going his way in this RICO case. With the prosecutors now having limited to zero evidence against him, they had to release their best evidence they have early, as this evidence they just shared was not supposed to be released for another 3 weeks, and it goes and reads, Young Thug was named as an alleged firearm man in the 2013 incident during a 911 call played during the YSL RICO trial today.
Okay, so who is? I have no idea, babe. I promise I can't tell y'all that. I don't know. All that I know, she came to my house and told me that the guy that shot my name Young Thug, what it's supposed to be. Somebody named the guy is in her house. So I don't know how y'all can do that. I'm trying to get her out the house, but she wants the phone now. Okay, all right.
As online lawyers revealed, the feds had to release this early because Young Thug's lawyers have practically won over the jury's side on making sure that Young Thug is innocent. An example of this is the state's best investigator against Thug and YSL for over 10 years now has literally not done any research at all, as Brian Steele, Thug's lawyer, would end up exposing him in front of the courtroom for his lack of research.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, you went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors. Am I correct?
No, sir. This is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr account?
No, sir.
How did you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Well, since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to, but every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
As Brian Steele would stand on business, challenging the investigator to go home, do more research, and then come back with an answer on what he finds about Young Thug.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because he said he has not reviewed.
A standing objection.
You do me a favor. If you come back, which I'll call you if you need, I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay?
Sure.
And tell them if it has anything other than music-oriented promotion, okay?
Well, I would say even this photo has more than just music promotion.
That's great.
Doing that inside of a court setting is absolutely unbelievable. Calling out an investigator to go home, do more research, and come back not only proves to the jury that this investigator likely doesn't know what he's talking about, but it also shows the jury that Young Thug's lawyer is not afraid and that Young Thug is really innocent and he's not lying about it. So the investigator now had to share some sort of evidence with the court, or else he would be likely fired from his job. He would end up exposing 2 rappers in the industry for having street ties connected to Young Thug, as he would go on to first expose Lil Wayne's affiliation to the same street team as Thug.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-training experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As the investigator is trying to prove to the jury that rappers do have street affiliations, the second rapper he would reveal would be YNW Melly, as the two rappers, a Young Thug and Melly, were in a Facebook post together where they could have just self-snitched on being in the same street team.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Devins has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and these individuals again, I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
As this could be a hint towards Melly's team YNW having street ties connected to Young Thug's team YSL. We would then even see Bryce and Paul tweet, Detective Danny Polo on what SLAT means. SLAT means sliming up all the time, and it came out of the YSL language. The Reds started copying it. YSL is made up of Reds. In the picture, Melly is with Thug, who is currently on trial for RICO. The YSL team is throwing up the red signs, as prosecutors believe that YSL is connected to YNW. On top of that evidence, the prosecutors really only have other small evidence, which could result in Young Thug being released, as the only other evidence they have is an old video of Thug recording a music video where he kind of self-snitches by using hand signs.
Did you see Mr. Williams putting up any identifying signs within that first few seconds of the video?
I did.
And what was he doing?
He was throwing the B's again, the 2 guys, and he also threw a 5-point star.
In that particular portion at 1:30, do you see Mr. Williams throwing up any
I did.
And what did he throw up?
He threw up the 2 again.
Why this is so important is because of the crimes that Young Thug was allegedly a part of was at the same time these old music videos were recorded, as they showcase several music videos from Young Thug throwing up his team's hand sign, as the investigator would then go on to confirm there is allegedly several videos of Young Thug doing this.
Now, have you had the occasion to view any videos with Mr. Williams in which he either himself self-identifies or associates himself either as a member of Rock Crew and or a member of YSL?
I have.
How many videos have you seen?
I don't know the exact number, but a few.
Okay. For the purposes of this testimony today, have you seen 3 specific videos as it relates to this testimony today?
I have.